Hello there, this is Amy, and guess where Amy is? In the land of the maple of this. Ta-da! Why haven't they picked up my recycling yet? It's full. It's like 10. They were supposed to pick it up at 7:30 a.m. I'm kind of concerned, but anyway, you get the point. Yep, I'm in Canada. I escaped my country. I've cuddled some girls. I've hugged some people. Yes, that's the first for me. I've had my first hug at the age of 23. That's depressing, ain't it? Anyway, I have lots of good things happening in my life, lots of terrible things, but the important news about this video is the channel and stuff. So I'm currently studying computer science at, a college here. I guess it's better to not say the name because it's kind of might be unsafe here. I don't know, people are creepy. Anyway, I'm studying computer science and I hated every second of it to the point where I'm really, really debating quitting college, but everyone's like, oh no, if you quit college, you'll end up in a dumpster and you will never get a job and you will turn into the Darth Vader. I've never watched Star Wars actually. It looks pretty lame. No offense to you guys. I know a lot of people like Star Wars, but I just saw some of it and it just kind of doesn't look that interesting. Anyway, the point is, and the reason I'm making this video is that, to just update you. I have nothing here. I literally only got enough money. Actually, let me show you. I actually got enough money for just some Allen keys. And this month, I have $200 to spend on tools. I need a soldering iron. But the issue here in this house is that I have no freaking space. Even if I get the money, I just have no space. So I might move out soon. I can't afford a single person apartment, so I have a roommate. But anyway, check this. Look at what Pantheon Design gave me for free. The stickers were not included. And also, yeah, they don't sell this. It's just like something that they did for fun in their farm. And it was just sitting there and didn't need it. I was like, hey, you just came here. Let me just give you a freaking free print. I was like expecting to buy it from them. But nope, they were like, nah, it's free. As long as you fix it. I was like, okay, let me see how bad of a condition it is in. They were like, nope, it just works. I literally had to blow on it once and it just works perfectly. Yeah, so I have a freaking Peugeot MK3 like all of his dream now. Yay, well deserved if I'm being honest, because I had like hell of a time. So anyway, as you can see, I vac sealed the crap out of this thing because I'm obsessed with vac seals too. And the extruder is absolute trash. I'm sorry, but the Peugeot extruders, I hate them so much. I don't think that's a very controversial opinion, but yeah, this thing is made out of freaking carbon fiber ABS. Though, it's cool, but it's kind of a waste because this frame is a joke. Seriously, if you do this during printing, it looks like a layer shift. I can make a layer shift with just this finger. It's not very sturdy. Like, I literally put something under it and it changed the bed leveling. Like, I had to go into the skew settings and stuff just because I put some foam under it. Ouch. Anyway, let's go back to my room. So, hey, it's my room again, and yeah, updating you on the guys, being updated on the things. Anyway, I'm studying and I'm really busy, and I'm gonna hopefully start working as either an engineer or firmware developer, but from the looks of it, I'm gonna be shuffling boxes in a sweatshop or something. I don't know, freaking knows capitalism, mate. Anyway, sorry, enough jokes, stupid jokes. Yeah, I've been busy. I've been playing with a lot of pins lately because, I don't know, I've been kind of honestly in a bad mental health thing because, it's not easy moving alone like this and stuff, the details, escaping a country like that, but I got this pen for free and I'm so happy and I love it. It's like a $2 pen, but it still means a lot. Yeah, I've been more playing with my pens for some reason, just drawing all day, really, and I've not even been studying, but thankfully I'm starting to get in the mood and slowly becoming myself again, and yeah, that's why I made this video to tell you about my new projects. Okay, I have a few things in mind. If my mind used to be like filled with ideas for cool projects, but kind of like right now. So, first project is obviously the Doot Eternal, one Doot to end them all. So this Doot is gonna be like the proper Doot that's gonna have proper release on GitHub and Prusa printers, I guess, I don't know, like a lot of websites. The issue is that it's gonna cost more than my kidneys, and the space, maybe I can manage it somehow. Maybe, but the bigger issue is the freaking cost. So I have a few options. I'm gonna see if anyone's interested in sponsoring the project, like reach out to E3D, like I don't know, Stepper Online, maybe some shops, maybe some freaking, I don't even know. Maybe they'll be interested in sponsoring the project. Yeah, I'll reach out to companies, see if I even have the motivation and the idea. So, let me tell you about what this printer is going to be like. The budget I have in my mind is hopefully going to be under $1,000 Canadian dollar or $800 US dollars. It's going to come with 2 tools with the price, 2 tools only. It's going to have the ability to properly, hopefully, add the CNC spindle to shave plastic, but that's a very different topic, and it's loud, and you have to have a vacuum system for that. So yeah, I'm gonna see. That's probably gonna be also very optional. 2, it's gonna actually have a part heating fan, which I'm gonna experiment with. There's this mechanism that's honestly right now in my head that switches between cold and hot air instantly. And the idea is that you keep it in the hot air at first. But then, like maybe it's in printing, one use case of it is I can see is that even if you have great retractions and great extruders, sometimes you get tiny wisps of PVA, for example, and cross-contamination in multi-material is terrible. And like if you're printing just like, I don't know, multicolor, that's fine. Like no one's gonna care, it's not gonna be even visible. But if you're printing multi-material, even a wisp, like the tiniest hairbit of the contaminated filament, it's not like a horribly huge issue, but it can sometimes seep under the specific spot in your model and create a weak point there, which is not good. So this is gonna blow up and like, blow up all the wisps. That's why it's blowing hot air to kind of, kill all the wisps and shrinking for you, which is why it will switch between hot and cold air instantly, because you don't want to heat it up, wait, and blow it all. It's gonna stay like in an isolated area hot, and when you need it, boop, blast. And B is actually I'm going to experiment with seeing if I can actually use that, like kind of abuse that to my advantage to create stronger layer adhesion, which is one of the biggest problems I have with 3D printing aside from accuracy. Is pretty much just the, like the biggest problems with 3D printing are the Z strength and the accuracy. So yeah, I'm going to try that obviously. Continuous fiber is something I'm going to work on. I haven't like made much progress there. I'm going to admit the issue is that it's really hard to do that in a home environment, but thankfully my college has a makerspace. I'll see. But yeah, basically I'm gonna experiment with freaking continuous fiber, which is also insanely good and stuff like yum tea. I need to drink this before it gets cold. So the second thing about Doot changer is that you're gonna get sad when I say this, but it's not gonna focus on speed. Like look, speed is cool. It's not gonna be slow. It's gonna be at least like a Voron 2.4 maybe. I don't think I can reach that. I'm not sure. It's gonna be you have to remember that in tool changers there's a lot of leverage and a lot of weight and stuff. Like not weight, to be honest, a lot of leverage sometimes. And, the kinematic coupling, and it's just a mess. Okay, I'd rather create something that's rigid and can handle the spindle forces for like say wood, even though I'm not planning on doing that. I want to make something accurate and rigid rather than focus on just speed, because this is more of a mechanical printer rather than like I don't want to print like freaking knickknacks. I mean, you can if you want to, and I do. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like my desk is full of bunnies, but the focus of this 3D printer is to allow you to print fancy materials, which comes to the second point. This is actually going to be able to handle, I'm planning right now, up to 70 degrees of chamber enclosure, which is like pretty easy, to be honest. For 70 or 70C, you just have to make sure that you don't use carbon fiber as your... Even for ABS, you have to make sure you don't use carbon fiber because the expansions of your rail and carbon fiber are different, so it warps. So that's the only limiting factor pretty much that I found out, and you need a special heated bed. My motors are going to end up outside the enclosure by nature of most of my designs. I always do that because I like it that way. So yeah, there's not going to be really much to it than that. Like I feel like most printers, if you just put the motors out, so if you buy high temperature motors, you can already... Oh yeah, for the extruder, I can just buy a high temp motor. Like most of the extruder motors are already high temp from what I've seen. So the 70C is not going to be a problem. This is purely for polycarbonate and hopefully HDN's high temperature nylon, which is a really cool filament that I've never printed with. I really want to try this. Expensive, but not insanely expensive. Like not insanely out of a hobbyist range. Like it's a material you keep for a special project like quadcopter and stuff. Like you want to be light, rigid with carbon fiber. That's when you use it. But like, yeah, it's not everyday material, which is going to come in handy. Oh yeah, other projects. I'll talk about that too. It's going to be high temperature compatible for polycarbonate. It's going to come in close, which is going to be really tough to do that with the $1,000 mark. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe that will be an optional thing. I'm going to be honest with you. That's going to be really hard to hit, especially if I'm going with linear rail on all, like the X and Y. I'm probably going to go with just rods on Z, like 12mm thick rods, just 3 of them. Yeah, kinematic bed coupling properly. I haven't decided yet, because that also allows for a little bit of mini 3-axis, like 5-axis, sorry. It allows for a little bit of rotation, which could come in handy in the future, God knows. Also, I'm going to eat my tea, drink my tea. So yeah, this part isn't my idea. I'm kind of stealing this, but I hope it'll be fine. But I saw the coolest, most genius idea at Pantheon, which I don't know why nobody has ever thought before. I've never seen it in a while. Which is to, instead of connecting the bottom to anything, just leaving it kind of like bare. This way, the true vibration of the 3D printer will not transfer properly to the motion system. It's a long story, so I'm not going to explain it, but if you Google the HS3, you will see why. yeah, that's probably gonna do that, though I'm not sure how it will work with my budget, because you kind of gonna need a very sturdy top plate, which is why they use the thick, nice things. Yeah, if you have not seen the Pantheon Sprinter in person, that's something else, mate. Like, it's so fast, and it's just scary when it, like, travels, you're just like, I'm gonna die. And yet it's so silent, too. Like, makes sense to use server. Like, the only thing you hear is, like, the balls inside the threaded rods. Because, you know, they don't use belts. I'm probably gonna use belts, to be honest. That's gonna put up the budget way higher. And it's honestly not worth it for my application, because I'm not gonna, you know, for me it's not worth it, so I'm gonna just stick to belts. I'll probably stick to 10mm, 8mm. Is there even a 10mm? 12? I don't know. The kinematics are probably not gonna be Core XY. I don't think they will. Maybe they will. I'm not sure. If they'll be Core XY, I might switch to 10mm, because again, this might mill. It's only plastic, but I still gonna mill something. Potentially, I don't think so. It's just for the potential applications if other people come up with. I want to make sure the motion system is capable for any ideas random people will have. Who knows? Yeah, anyway, that's it. It's gonna be kind of, I think it's called Mark Force kinematics, where the Y is kind of like Cartesian, but I'm worried because the X-axis will put some tilting forces on the carriage, but I think it'll be fine with 2 fucking linear rails for Y. I might also go with, like, you know, crazy stuff. Like, one of the things I thought about, but I don't think it's worth it, especially really complicated, but would be Core X kind of. Oh god, that would be a nightmare to make. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. But Core XT basically, which the T is for tool locking, where it's kind of like mounted remotely with the belt. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Oh, speaking of tool locking mechanisms, I'm not gonna use the old tool locking mechanism, which uses the old tool changer uses current, which works, to be honest, very well, like 0.02mm locking tolerances. For me, the locking tolerances change more based on the frame moving, like the whacking of the tool, you know, to pick it up. Actually, it was surprising to me because it was made out of 30-30 aluminum extrusions, okay, and it was still bending. Shocking. But most of the inaccuracy actually came from the frame. Like, I saw with my microscope, when I put my hand on the bottom of the frame and just force it a little bit, I can see the nozzle moving relative to the bed. So yeah, that's gonna be something that I'm gonna work on. But yeah, you'll be surprised, but it's still, I want to go with something better. So I have 2 ideas. One of them uses a motor, but I'm gonna try to move away from the motor because A, it saves costs, B, it doesn't just save costs, but it also makes things simpler, lightweight for the motion system, usually, depending on what you do. So, you know, there's a lot of ideas and ways you could approach a motorless tool changer. One of them is kind of funny. I'm not gonna do it because it would create a lot of wear on the part, but I don't even own pencils. Oh my god, I only have fountain pens, but this basically is a very weird pen. It's the clicky thing is on the clip, but basically this mechanism is actually gonna work as a tool changer if you modify it, right? But it's gonna wear down fast, so it's kind of more like funny than anything. Yeah. Anyway, like, it's kind of not gonna be exactly the same. It's gonna be kind of like something when you push it, kind of rotates as you push it, like this. But yeah, anyway, that's gonna, oh, the thing is, that's gonna require like some sort of spring on the shaft. I don't want to put a spring on the shaft like E3D, and I think Prusa do on their tool changer. I'm not sure if they are putting the, okay, there's 2 ways they can approach it. I'm pretty sure they're putting the spring on the shaft, but they could technically put the spring on the plate that gets pulled. I'm not gonna do that because that's probably copyright, okay? That's probably gonna be problematic, even though it's a pretty good idea that I somehow didn't come up with, even though it's so simple. Why am I so dumb? I don't know. Let's figure out sometime. But since I was really dumb and I did not come up with that idea earlier, even though I spent like an entire week thinking of its motorless design, I have some other ideas. Some of them are really crazy. Probably not going to do the crazy ones, but some of them are promising in my head at least. Yeah, there's all sorts of idea mechanism, and the ones that you pull like this and it locks. The issue for me is that I don't want to make it. One of the biggest issues for me is that I do not want to use a spring, and when you don't use a spring, you either have to rely on the friction of the tool being locked to keep it in place, otherwise after vibration it could come loose, right? So that's part of my problem that I'm gonna fix. I don't want to use a ratchet because obvious reasons. I'm thinking of using a rubber, like a very friction neoprene. I think there's a rubber that's not rubber. Like there's a, you got the point. It has a lot of friction. I'm gonna use kind of like a disc brake, maybe. You know, a mechanism when it comes to lock, it kind of gets pushed back, locked, and when you leave. But that's the thing. The delay between leaving is probably gonna push the tool back a little bit, which is gonna create inaccuracy. So I don't think that's a good idea, unless I make it with a like electro like boop things, like those solenoids. Yes, unless I use that, which I don't want to do. We'll see. Maybe if I use like a very small tiny gap, like with compliant design or something, it'll work well. Anyway, I'll figure something out. Basically, the problem is that I don't want to know how to. I have a lot of ideas for mechanisms that do lock, But I have no idea how to prevent the mechanism for after being loose to just not go loose. And yeah, so far the idea I have that does require motor, which kind of might be problematic in some small ways, but I don't think it will be, is this. It actually does use a spring, but the clever thing is that the mechanical is basically like this. These two, this is like one part of the wire, this is like another wire, they're not connected to each other. And this is just a flat metal plate with a hole through it, which the shaft to lock goes through. As you lock, the spring compresses until these two, boop, short. And that's kind of your mechanical switch, and basically just a mechanical switch with a hole that the shaft can pull through and switch. And as you lock the tool, once it reaches a certain torque, it clicks the switch and it locks. But the thing is, unlike a normal mechanical switch, which can go further after being clicked and it's just flimsy and not strong, this switch actually kind of acts like part of the rigidity, which so like you can't pull it back because the tool's holding it back, and you can't, if you push it forward, then the force is going to go here. Basically it's kind of locked tight, and it can't like slide in this all axis, kind of like not really doing anything for the kinematic coupling. They can slide on each other like this. So yeah, that's going to be my first idea. I'm not sure how reliably it will work without some sort of spring, which I do not want to use. That's the whole point. It's going to be two hard surfaces clacking against each other. I'm not sure how reliably that will register. Yeah, again, I'm going to give it a try. That's my idea so far for the motor version of the tool changer. That's more reliable with just a spring, but kind of does it like this. Boop, boop. Maybe I'll give up and use a spring. I don't want to do that. Yeah, to be honest, E3D does use a spring, and they Dremel. Like they have I keep calling the spindles Dremels because that's just a brand name. But yeah, E3D does have that, and they do mill plastic pretty fine. I'm gonna be honest, they have great results. Actually, I haven't heard from E3Ds on that. I don't Google and assemble. I've not. They just kind of talked about it for a bit and just like haven't talked about it in 2 years. I literally don't see anything on it anymore. I don't know why they gave up. Like, yeah, it's been 2 years since any content even from creators. Like, this one's a year ago. Yep, I have not seen any content from like anyone on the assemble. I wonder if it just proved too difficult and like messy to you, or at least to average users. Anyway, yeah, there's all sorts of crazy ideas for the tools, by the way. Injecting resin into the parts to increase that access strain. I don't know, tools that do sorts of crazy stuff. I haven't like fully thought about them, that many ideas yet. The issue is that I'm gonna only have 4 tool slots for 300 by 300, so that's gonna be a little bit of difficulty. I don't want to make the printer too slow and too like flimsy, but I was thinking of going with 350 by 300, just purely for the freaking extra, what do you call it, like tool space. Or maybe you can make a carousel of tools, or like something that kind of slides up and down so you can select from 8 tools. That's going to add the cost of a stepper though. Oh, actually not a stepper, just a normal motor with 2 mechanical switches. Anyway, you get the point, right? That was going to be too crazy. So yeah, I'm going to also focus on making the tool changes fast, so the Z-axis might be bolted if I don't find that too difficult, because get the point. It's going to take some time to adjust the Z. Although, probably not gonna, to be honest. Yeah, probably not gonna, especially if I'm going to leave the bottom hanging. That's going to be really challenging to do, if you get my point. So I'm probably going to stick to Z and just live with the side effects. Not worth it. Yeah, the top parts, I'm thinking of getting it like the top part cut out of laser, but that's going to make it way more inaccessible. But maybe I can find the seller on AliExpress and be like, hey, you could sell this. They were like, nice, profit stonks. So I haven't thought about that yet. I don't know how much it will increase the cost. I'm just still in the thinking and designing in my head phase. I've actually not designed anything in person. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do it, to be honest. Too time consuming, too expensive. I don't have money, I'm broke, I don't have space. Yeah, that's one. The other robot that I'm thinking of making, I'm gonna go over it really quickly since I love fountain pens. I was thinking of creating a robot that uses computer vision under a microscope to check the nib, basically create a tiny image of it and grind it to any size or shape you want. That's going to be really cool because you can optimize the feeling you get from the nib by like computer. And you can literally like adjust the feeling to how it's going to feel with a computer. You can select like rougher or a little bit rougher, feedbacky, smooth as hell, metallic, extra fine, fine, medium. They can properly do it, because one of the things that annoys me about phantom is their terrible quality control. Half the time you have to fix it yourself when you buy one, seriously. Paula's the only brand that I never had to fix any of their pens. Yeah, but seriously, like, I got this, I had to tune it, and it still doesn't write that well. The quality control is garbage on these. The Twisbys are so random. One of them is amazing, the other one is garbage. In terms of nib feeling, you can always fix it, but you get the point. That's another idea. The problem is that an extra fine Japanese nib is just 0.2 millimeters wide, and the kind of robot that would make this kind of nib without, let's say, 1%, but 1% freaking tolerance is gonna be insanely accurate, okay, and probably very expensive. It's gonna probably need, like, I can't use these cheap clone rails for this kind of thing. I don't think so. It's gonna need insane accuracy, not to mention that it's gonna rotate, so it's gonna be a very accurate 5-axis machine, which just does not sound very easy, even though the kind of movement it needs is kind of like, honestly, it needs so little movement. Although it's gonna rotate a lot in this axis, but you could literally make the entire motion system out of compliant design, which is kind of interesting if I do that. It's gonna be kind of cool, right? A compliant design nib tuning machine. Maybe I can do that actually. Let's see. But yeah, it does sound very. Oh, this is my painted freaking Kakuno. I paint my pen sometimes. This is my painted other Kakuno with some stars. I call it the poor girl's Bennu because I cannot afford a Bennu, and I like how they look. So as you can see, I've used my own with nail polish and glitter. I wish I didn't put a star here. I tried to be artistic, but I instead was kind of dumb design decision anyway. That's another idea. The other idea is probably not something worth publishing online. I mean, also put it online so other people can make it, but I was thinking of just making my own soldering iron, so I save on the cost. Not like the handle that's kind of made out of metal and it's pointless to make. Just one that takes T12, like kind of like the SM32 T12s that you see online, except this one's gonna be safe and not caught and catch on fire and explode. Hopefully, because I'm not that good of an electrical engineer. I mean, I'm not an electrical engineer at all. Be a cool learning experience on the firmware and the handling the temperatures accurately. With a calibration routine of some sort, perhaps. Gonna be interesting. But yeah, gotta be honest. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, the Doot changers, the only special things about it are gonna be like focus on accuracy, not speed, and also, I mean, it's not gonna be slow like a Prusa. It's gonna be fast like a Corex 5 for the most part. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make it like a motorless lock too, so you know you spend less on shipping and stuff. And yeah, the hot air thing is gonna be special, but the special things are gonna be the tools I make for it more than anything, because I'm thinking of resin injection tools, like basically random wacky tools like, oh, and the parts for the tool changer, after I experimented with the Doot changer, the Doot Eternal was probably gonna have like steel reinforced or carbon fiber reinforced parts. And how you do that is to print the base materials. You can do it in carbon fiber PETG units. Sorry, ABS. PETG is too bad. You can just print it out of ABS or carbon fiber ABS. So I'm gonna put channels and slots where you can route the fibers through. Put super glue and cut them. This is gonna be kind of require a little bit of it, to be honest. Not too much, but it does require a mask and gloves. But it's not like gonna be like, you know, you have to put on a freaking face mask and go outside. It's not gonna be that bad, but you do need to take some precautions if you choose that road. So for that reason, even though it's less efficient weight-wise and everything, I am thinking of just using generic things like screws, aluminum, or just titanium rods are actually pretty cheap, I think. Let me Google that. I just came up with this idea right now. Why didn't I think of titanium rods? I think they're pretty cheap, aren't they? Am I making a mistake? Oh! Titanium rod reinforced? That's actually the best plan. The way that'll work is you literally just slide it in and just put some epoxy or super glue if you want. I don't think you actually technically need to. That's just better. It would technically work if you just press fit it, like, not with a hydraulic press, but with just like a clamp, just press fit it there and with shaped plastic. But you would need to cut these all to size. I'm pretty sure they're standards though, so you can just like design my printer around the standard parts in a way that won't create weak points that's, you know, shatter. But yeah, for a 3D printer, it's not gonna endure insane force. My main concern is rigidity, not strength. So that could work, you know. I don't want strength, I want rigidity, which is a very different topic. I just don't want it to flex. It's not gonna bear too much force. I just don't want it to flex under that little force, because, you know, my old printer could probably set on it and it wouldn't break, but it would flex. You get my point? That's the bad thing I don't want. So yeah, for the x-axis, I'm kind of lost because I don't want to use a crappy Chinese blah 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 rail. I want to use something proper, but the LDOs, I'm not sure if they're good enough. Some of them have preload, which is nice, but what do you call it? The freaking the genuine high ones are insanely expensive, and I don't want to put one there, especially for low budget. So I gotta come up with something like that. I don't think I'm gonna use wheel wheels because everyone hates those, and I never owned one, so I'm not sure how bad it is compared to what people say. But I guess I'm gonna take you guys' word for it. This sucks. yeah, that's the tool changer, that's the thing. Soldering iron might make. I have some other project ideas, but I'm not gonna do them yet. I don't know, some fun things to make. But yeah, I'm in Canada, that's the important part. I'm studying computer science. I'm probably gonna switch to mechatronics later down the line. I'm hoping to study at UBC soon or somewhere else, I don't know. Yeah, you get the point, and have fun, y'all. Basically, it's the news. I escaped my country, and I don't have anything. Like, seriously, my entire tool asset right now is Allen keys, which I love. They're such a good thing, seriously. I escaped and bought the Amazon Basics one, and they were absolutely trash. I got the Wiha ones, and they're pretty good. I like them. And I have some tweezers, and that's it. That's all my tool. I don't have a screwdriver. I don't have a soldering iron. I don't have hot air. I don't have crimps. I don't have screws. I have to buy screws. I don't know where to get them. They're so expensive here, and the kits are like $20. Oh my god. You get the point, right? It's getting kind of scary. I need so many tools. I have so little money. What else do I need? A soldering iron. I mentioned that. Some soldering wick. Maybe I don't remember. Screwdrivers. Oh, crimping tools. Crimping tools, that's important. Oh, not to mention the power supply, like a bench PSU. Oh my god, that's gonna cost a lot. I don't know where to put them. But basically, you get the point, right? Yeah. But don't expect anything too soon. I'm kind of like still settling to the country and stuff. But yeah, have fun, and yeah, just telling you, you know, I kind of haven't uploaded anything in a while. The channel just quit. This is why I kind of... I kind of moved to Canada, and also I made the mistake of buying a Mac, which I kind of hate and love at the same time. It's so annoying to use. Oh my god, I really need a PC, but at the same time, it was $400 off. Like, how could you not? This, I got the last year's model. It's the M1, like, old Air. I got the old Air, but it was like $400 off for the 16GB 512. And at the time I was buying this, I could not find a proper Windows machine. For some reason, everything was out of stock, so I kind of got this, especially since its amazing battery life is good for college. I literally come out of my home with the computer science labs with 100% battery life. This thing is insane. Like, it can, before I installed Visual Studio Code, it could handle like 12 hours of light usage, like browsing the web. Not light, medium. Like, me calling my light usage browsing the web is like having 100 tabs open. That's my light usage. So yeah, but it has this annoying thing. Safari is annoying. It keeps running out of RAM for some reason, even though I use it the same way I use my PC. Yeah, I wish the display was nice. I wish, to be fair, I kind of did skimp on the money, and I could have gotten the M2, but it's okay. Kind of like, you know, my choice. Can't complain. The keyboard's pretty nice. The speaker's relatively nice. You know, for a laptop speaker, it's not that amazing. I love the display's colors. I love the display coating. The anti-reflecting coating is god tier. That's like half the reason I bought this laptop, because I hate seeing my face and just like sunlight burn my retinas on my other laptops. The whites are pretty amazing on this display. Touch ID is useful. Locking in the Apple. My problem with this machine is pretty much just the fact that A, I cannot play games on it because it doesn't have a fan, and no games run on it. And second, the stupid macOS stuff that I hate. I hate macOS. I love Ubuntu. I love Linux. I hate macOS. It's so annoying that don't even get me started. There's so many. Look, there's good things, right? There's amazing things about MacBook Air, but there's also freaking annoying things that I hate. But also, there's magical things, like if you have an iPad, which I sadly don't anymore, and I really miss it. I wish I could get one again for my college, because taking notes on paper for me is torture, because I have to cross off my... Ugh, it just turns into a mess. But iPad is just so much neater. You can search, anyway, you get the point. If you put your iPad next to it, you can literally sweep your mouse over, and it just kind of acts like a second device or a monitor if you want. That's very useful for me, because sometimes like I'm doing something in there and I'm ordering groceries on my iPad. I like how they're separate devices, so the Safari is a separate instance, on iOS. You can mirror the display, but they just choose not to. It works so well, it works so magically, but it is a lot of times very buggy. And also, people say that Macs just work and Apple just works. It's the opposite of my experience. It does the opposite of just work. It always needs fiddling, and I don't get that. Like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and just... Seriously, in the window management, this thing is a nightmare. I keep spamming Control Q and still find out that I haven't closed the app for some reason. Quit manually, please. Oh my god, why is this still open? Yeah, it's just kind of annoying, if I'm being honest, and it constant rounds and round, which I guess is because of the window management stuff. And Safari doesn't seem to like RAM. It doesn't probably put the... Does it put the unused tabs to sleep? Yes, it does. It reloaded. So it probably does that. I don't know why. Anyway, this video is already 30 minutes. Have fun. I'm going to wait until it exactly hits 30 minutes and then press stop so it's going to look neat on the... I don't know. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the rambles. It's my life. You're probably not going to watch the entire thing. I hope I could tell myself...